Anything further on the motion? Councillor Thorn, go ahead.
I'm speaking against this motion, and I would really encourage my colleagues to just rethink the positions they've taken. There's a few elements of it. So like Councillor Christopher had laid out, there is so many things about this that are right. So there's lots of boxes here that I think are we can check, and they definitely move us forward. But there's a few things that I still struggle with. One, there's no business case. It's been lacking. I've been asking for it, and I still don't think you've laid out the business case of this. We talk about that the market has to push innovation, and I agree with that, or that we want the market pushing innovation. But in this case, I don't think it's the market that's pushing the innovation. They're asking the government to take all the risk here. And if I have no problem with us being a leader in terms of economic development, in terms of environmental initiatives, and there is a place for government to do that. But when you are that leader, it has to be a project that private industry can duplicate. And I do not believe at the cost point that this price point that this is at, this is duplicatable. So this eco village, and I'll just talk about that specific piece, at 8.46 million, which puts us definitely on leading edge of a lot of things. It's not cost effective for somebody to take and transplant that same project somewhere else. It works out to, and I realize we said we can't do that, to about $180,000 a unit. Well, that's not duplicatable on a tiny homes for a private industry to do that project. So yes, government needs to lead, but we need to lead on something that is actually duplicatable for private business. So that's there. Housing diversity, absolutely, it drives economic development, and affordable housing, it brings in the people that we want to have live here. And I'm a tiny homes proponent, but this isn't an affordable housing project. By the time you take and look at it, so we talk about that this is checking off our affordable housing. Well, we can build an apartment building for way less than what we're investing here in a partnership. We've just shown we can do it with West Winds and Rowan House. And that's getting us 60 units for pennies compared to what we're being asked for down this path. The phasing of this, so the first phase of this is, there is nothing in that phase to me that brings value back to the taxpayer. It's a showcase piece for the town of Okotoks. In these economic times, I don't think right now is the time to do a showcase piece. Our taxpayers are out there. I don't know who's paying attention to that, but I certainly am. This is the first issue since I've been elected, resoundingly on social media, that our community is saying no to. And it's resounding into a group of people that I don't typically see engage on social media. They're not a proponent of it right now. And it comes down to economics. So I really don't think that there's elements of it that I think are right. If you could tell me we could flip the project and we could do the other pieces, the Winter Garden, the amphitheater, the community buildings, and do that first, I'd be a proponent of that, because that ties into the economic development piece. But that piece, that's what we're selling is the eco-village and the non-res and the economic development piece, it's 5 to 10 years out based on what we're looking at here. So I cannot get on board of spending this $4.26 million for this right now. I appreciate that administration's pulled together some people. They've had somebody come to them, and they've tried to figure that out and have developed this. That element of it I love. The innovation that we're looking at, again, I love. But in today's economic environment and the return to the taxpayer on this, I just don't see it. So I am adamantly speaking against, and I would encourage my colleagues to really think about that piece, because I do not see where we're returning to our taxpayers anything on this. And it's not just about return on investment, but there's some big gaps in terms of payback of investment that we're putting. We had all that up front on the last affordable housing project we did. That was all there, that this would be the terms to pay back. Here's how this is going to work. And we knew that going in. This is still a gap for me. So there is so many dots and lines that I do not feel are connected here. And we're being asked to make a very major investment to do it.
15
And
seconds.
I just don't see it as being duplicatable, so I encourage my council's colleagues to reconsider their positions and to vote against this. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Christopher's question.
I'd like to make a motion.
You can't make a motion. You can propose an amendment. There's a motion before us. You can only have one main motion on the floor.